fentanyl and how there are people within our community and other communities across our country that are working to help stop fentanyl. And that's going to be a tough job, and I guess fentanyl awareness is very important, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
All right, so thank you both for being here. Now, Adrian, I guess people might recognize you. You live in Seattle, Washington now, but
Yes,
you're
I
originally
do.
from here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
That's correct.
Went to Magna Vista?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you went to Magna Vista High School, now living in Seattle, Washington.
Yes, ma'am.
And Chris, you're here.
Yes,
right?
ma'am, I am.
You're a local guy.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, so we're going to be talking about fentanyl awareness.
Yes, ma'am.
And actually, that's the name of your organization.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Fentanyl Awareness is a 501c3, a nonprofit organization.
Yes, ma'am.
So first off, let's talk about the mission. What is your mission?
Our mission too is to educate and inform communities on the dangers of fentanyl and drug overdoses, and by educating the community with our books, social programs, and other to help make a change.
I know when you're talking about fentanyl, you were telling me during the commercial break about in Seattle how bad it is, and
Yes.
how many people die there, how many
Yes.
people you know that have died of fentanyl,
Yes.
and even riding public transit.
Yes, it's getting so bad to where the morgue is getting filled up and they have to close the morgue down in the hospital because of the fentanyl patients and because of the overdose epidemic. Some people are not being seen, so you have older people getting heart attacks, and they're dying in their house now because of fentanyl. So it's getting out of hand. You know, this is so serious.
So when we talk about the morgues not having the room, and you even talked about the transit bus, the buses, when people, public transit, I mean, they use that to get to their jobs,
Yes,
and to
ma'am.
go to different places, their doctor visits, and they don't even feel safe in public transit.
Yes, they because it's so bad because people are smoking the fentanyl pills on the bus with kids and with adults. It was 3 or 4 people that I know, 3 or 4 elderly that overdosed on the bus just for people being next to them, and they're smelling. I mean, they're smelling, they're inhaling it. And I know a couple kids who lost their lives. And on Halloween, I know 2 parents who lost 2 kids' lives that was 4 and 5 years old because they what they call rainbow fentanyl, and they ate it. So they passed out and they had, and they failed.
So when you call it rainbow fentanyl, the children think it's candy.
Yes, ma'am.
Like Skittles, yeah.
Like Skittles. All right, so when we talk about this, and it seems so overwhelming, I mean, it really does. But with your organization, I mean, what is your vision? What do you hope to do? Is there something you can do?
Yes, my vision is to basically to educate the people that are selling the product to the communities and let them know and give them the other ultimatums to take other routes, and also educating the youth on what it is and what it's not, and educating such as books and such as social programs that we have, and also we have children's books that we
Let's take a look at one.
Sorry about that. This is our kids cookbook for kids for kids parents that are in drugs or that are in jail that can't cook. So we had a book that we made for kids who can't cook for themselves and that needs to learn. So this is from Sweet Tea's Catering. That's my chef that I'm working with. Her name is LaToya Miller, and she's a chef. So we put this together for kids.
And this is actually for children.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so they can make meals easily.
And this is our book. This is our kids' book, and it has key points to peer pressure, such as peer pressure and other stuff as well, to get to reason why people get on drugs and other stuff as well.
Okay, so I understand that even though you are in Seattle, Washington,
Yes, ma'am.
originally from here, you still work with churches
Yes, ma'am.
in this area and other organizations. Tell me about that.
Well, my name is, like I said, Chris Hairston, and I'm a local minister, I guess, / activist, and never really took the time to worry about titling the work that I've been doing. I've just been doing the work. And so I'm here today as a representative of this young man and grabbing a hold to the vision, because I did Stop the Violence rally around here, and I work with local agencies trying to help stop the drugs. But here this morning, I would like to challenge the community. I would like to challenge the churches, because I was wondering, does church people do anything else besides have church? And pastors are so influential, so influential. If the pastors would grab a hold to this vision and they would spread it to their congregations in all seriousness, so that the congregation would go out and tell somebody instead of waiting until it hit your house. Because we got kind of laxy-daisy where if it don't affect me, if it don't affect my house, it's none of my business. But it takes a village to raise a child. And so you can't operate in a village by just taking it from it. You got to add to it. And so that's what I get. I believe in grabbing the snake by the head. And so that approach. And so there's going to be some churches and some pastors around here that I'm going to challenge along with this movement, because this spring we're hoping to have a rally, and we want to take the covers off, because the code of the street is you don't snitch, that you don't tell. Well, don't bring it around me, because I'm snitching, I'm telling, because we losing valuable lives, we losing valuable people, and the sad part is people are selling it to their friends. They're selling it to their friends, and then their friends are dying, and then next thing you know, they're at the cookout or the next function acting like ain't nothing happened. Well, I'm here to put a nip in that and to stop that, because in this world, the way everything's going, we're going to need everybody. We're going to need everybody, and we got enough going on besides a new drug. You know,
very dangerous drug.
Very dangerous drug. You know, you selling it to people and you don't even know the depths of it, just for $20 or whatever you're selling it for, you know. And so it's time to take the bull by the horns in this neighborhood. And so I'm thankful to God and thankful to Adrian Meese for having this vision and bringing it to here and allowing me to be a part of it, you know, to just put some more fire up under me to tackle this. And I'm coming for the city council and everybody that has a voice in this community that's able to make a difference. Is able to make a difference. And I'm not talking politics or political people, but if you influential and you know somebody or know somebody, kid that's messing around with drugs and you're trying to figure out what's going on to them, give me a call. Let me come and sit and talk with them, because I do anger management, I do counseling and in-home, and also I work with an organization called Life Skills, and we work with the youth. And so we can get them young to be aware about this drug and everything going on in the community. Then that'll give us a little head start on the villain. That makes sense? And like the books that Adrian wrote, you know, so we can tell stories, show the kids stories. Instead of green eggs and ham, we can tell them about, hey, don't eat this, you know, this candy, or watch out for strangers. And on top of that, all the violence in the community. You know, just senseless violence. We just had a murder here the other day where a young man, 22 years old, lost his life. You know, and you better believe it was something miscellaneous tied to his death that probably, you know, had something to do with something that they shouldn't have been messing with. Sure. You know, and so we just need to take the bull by the horns. It's time out for the churches to just stop having church and taking up offering and everybody in there having a good time. The Bible says that we need to go to the uttermost parts of the earth. We need to go and compel men. We need to go compel men. And Jesus Christ said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men. And it's time for us to put these things into action. put these things into action instead of a whole bunch of talk. And so I'm just glad for the opportunity just to be a part of it.
Right. You know, you mentioned children, and you mentioned children being involved, and of course parents have a responsibility for their children.
Yes, ma'am.
You also said in the churches.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, you know, the people that go to church listen to the preacher.
Right.
And he's preaching from the Bible, but also, as you said, there is a way that you can reach those people through the church and maybe help them to lead a better life and to maybe protect their children
Yes, ma'am.
down the road.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So tell me, when you talk about how people can get involved, and that's through the church, and you said they can call you. Now, Adrian, with you and you being in Seattle, how will you help to coordinate that, or how will you help to work with these groups in order to get that word out?
Far as that, I'm going to get in touch with my head. This is gonna be the head of Martinsville, so I'm gonna be in touch with him, and we're gonna touch back and forth. And not just that, I have an email, and they can get in touch with me with fentanylsawareness.net. Also, I have a business line. So either way, you know, it's other ways to get in contact with me, but it's always the main one is to contact him first. If you can't contact him, then I'm the second. You know.
All right, let's talk just a little bit. Let's go a little bit more into detail about fentanyl. And I guess you as a young man, why did you decide to even get involved? I mean, I would think at your age you would have other things on your mind.
Yes, ma'am.
And moving forward maybe with your job. So what brought you to want to start a 501c3 with Fentanyl Awareness?
After losing like 11 people within a 2-year span, you know, it's a change, because I ain't gonna lie, before this I was in the streets, so I can't judge people who were selling drugs. I used to sell drugs out here because I understand that the economy around here is not too great. So people have to do stuff to make extra ends meet. Man, that's not always an excuse, but I see why. You know, so I understand being on the other side and coming from these urban communities. I know what these urban communities need in help. You feel what I'm saying? So that's even with these second chance programs. So that's what I want to distill, that, you know, it can always, you don't have to look out for that, you know. So I mean, you don't have to go to that. So that was my main thing, is just making a change, because I had to change my mindset first. So you want to make a change, you have to change this. So I want to change everybody else's. I mean, I want to try to make a change in the youth's mind, you know. So
All right. So tell me your path forward. Is it going to start with the springtime and the drug awareness? Is that where you intend to start with your program here?
That's where we're going to formally introduce it to the community around spring by ways of a rally. But we're working right now behind the scenes, planning and getting things together. Like I say, as far as myself, I come from the life of addiction. Some people say I went from the crack pipe to the preacher's mic, and so I've been there. In just my story alone, one day I woke up 6 hours away from home in a dumpster, and it was a man named Fred Romano. He came and got me, and after John Heiss and Pastor Eccles, Alfred Eccles, took me out there. My life was changed because I started to see things in a new light, and so most people use drugs out of selfishness. They use drugs out of selfishness, and like it's me, all about me. But now it's a different time and it's a different age, and drugs are not recreational. Drugs are something that, like I told a friend a guy that I know the other day, I said, either you want to get some help or just stand in front of my truck and let me go ahead and run you over, you know, and get it over with. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and he was a little upset. I said, well, you're just killing yourself slowly. I said, let me go ahead on and take you out so it'll be over and done with for your family and everything. And so that's what it affects. It affects us. It affects our family. It affects our children. It affects our communities. And most of it's out of not knowing and ignorance, because if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, that's insanity. And so once we grab the bull by the horns and we get everybody on board, because it's not about this church, it's not about that church, it's not about this school or that school or this area, but it's about everybody in the collaboration working together saying, hey, enough is enough. Enough is enough, and that's where I'm at, because I'm sick and tired. Like I said, my kids are grown, and thank God that they're doing well. But I see other people's kids going without because the parents are selfish and they want to use the food stamp money. Sell a food stamp card on the street so they can get drugs instead of getting food for the kids. You know, they want to take the things that the government gives us. The government been giving us stuff for so long that only thing we look for now is just handouts. And so when come a time where our ministry have to start at home. We have to do right by our families. We have to do right by our children. We have to do right by our community. And like I say, the church is so influential. That's why your politicians, right around election time, come to the church and they want to speak, because they're trying to persuade the pastor and persuade the congregation to get the votes. Well, I want the votes too. The votes I want is I want everybody to vote for fentanyl to be destroyed in our community, as well as other drugs. You know, and I'm challenging the police force, you know, instead of riding around in cars and hanging out trying to get somebody on the ticket, it's more things out here that's more dangerous. And so I'm just challenging everybody in this community, and I'm just thankful for this opportunity and to be sitting beside this young man and doing an awesome job along with his vision. And so I can talk all day, but I'm not. Anyway.
Well, you know, what I hear is that both of you have been there, done that.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
when you start talking with people today, you can tell them, look, I've been where you've been, but let me tell you what's out there that can change your life.
Yes, ma'am.
And how you can be a better person. Because as we destroy our young people, you know, our children, our teenagers, and those are the people that we're going to rely on one of these days to run this country.
Yes, ma'am.
So, all right, tell me then, what I see here is in the spring, there's going to be a rally.
Yes, ma'am.
You're getting that together.
Yes, ma'am.
Now as we speak.
Yes. Also, we're putting together a tour as well, like a health and wellness tour from. It's going to be called Northwest Southern Bread Tour. So we're gonna start from Seattle all the way over here to raise awareness. So it's gonna be Southern music all the way from like country music. So I want to bring the Southern culture all the way from the West Coast and bring it all the way back here to Fentanyls in either in the reservoir or somewhere around here. Like when we have somebody major like Lil Boosie or somebody like TV Jake, somebody that brings attention is gonna bring a lot of economical growth for Martinsville and Henry County. As well. So that's what we in the midst of working on as well.
Yeah.
Well, certainly, I think everybody realizes that fentanyl is a huge problem.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a huge problem for society today. And so the two of you, along with others that you're working with, trying to make that difference in people's lives and to try to save lives.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what I see here. So, all right, let me ask you, how can people help you? How can they donate? How can they help you with this cause, particularly coming up in the spring?
They can donate to Fentanyl Awareness on PayPal, Fentanyl Awareness 281@gmail.com. That's on PayPal. Also, I have a donor box. I have a Kickstarter. I also have a GoFundMe set up. Well, we also have a GoFundMe set up. So they can, on all those platforms, also Facebook, and also my website, fentanylAwareness.net. So just reach out any type of way, shape, or form, any type of donation, money, clothes, food, anything to help the community, test strips, anything. So that's all we ask. you know.
Okay.
pretty much.
And then how can they help with your rally coming up in the spring?
Well, my rally, although all that information will be put out, and all the donations will be coming through Adrian and Fentanyl Awareness. But my main thing is.
Can people like reach out to you and say, "Hey, I want to be a part of this rally"? How
Most
can I
definitely,
help?
most definitely. Hopefully, this time that we spending this morning and the message gets out, and I'm hoping that there's somebody out there that's not waiting for somebody else to do it, because you got a saying: if we don't,
Then who will?
then who
if
will?
we don't, then who will?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we don't, then who will? And so I'm hoping a whole lot of people that's willing to. I talked to a young man yesterday, and so he's on board with me already. Anything that he can do, and I keep a pretty close ear to the community, and so I hear a whole lot of stuff that's going on in the street, and so those some of the guys that I want to get at this rally, some people that live something, some people that know what's going on, some people that knows the outcome, as well as the churches in the community. Bring the church folk out there. We can sing songs and we can have a message, whatever, but we need to stop this fentanyl, because after this fentanyl, crocodile is coming after this fentanyl, and that's the flesh-eating. That's the flesh-eating drug that's mixed with fentanyl that give people a zombie-like state.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. They give them a zombie-like state, and it makes their flesh deteriorate, and they begin to eat their own flesh. And so that right there is right behind fentanyl. It's in California, and it's moving across the United States as we speak. You know, and all it takes is for somebody to get a hold to it and pass it on, and the next thing you know, we got another epidemic. So I'm challenging Lane Perry, Henry County, the city, Martinsville Sheriff's Department to get on board with this, and anything that we can do to help them stop this epidemic, we're willing to help them, but we also need them to help us. We need them to help us also in getting the word out. You know, I want the dealer to not be comfortable selling fentanyl. You know, I don't want him to be comfortable selling crack cocaine. I don't want him to be comfortable selling heroin. I want him to know that I'm coming for him. I'm coming for him, because it's some babies. It's some babies that didn't even have a chance to grow up in this world, that need their parents. There's some babies that need education. There's some babies that cause and effect can destroy their lives just so they can make extra money. You know, and so I'm just motivated, I'm excited, and I'm pissed off. You know, I'm pissed off that this thing is becoming so welcoming. And just here alone in Martinsville, when you baptize somebody and then, I don't want to say wake up dead, but their parents find them dead, and then, you know, I mean, and don't nobody act like they know what's going on, but everybody knows what's going on. So it's time to speak out, speak up, put your gloves on, and let's fight this thing, because it ain't no fair fight. It ain't no fair fight, and so whatever I need to do to stop this fentanyl and whatever other drugs, and also the violence in Martinsville and Henry County, I'm ready to do that.
Good. Well, I certainly appreciate both of you being on today, and good luck with what you're working with, and that's Fentanyl Awareness. And I'm sure that people are looking forward to the rally and to your tour as you come back to the Martinsville and Henry County area.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
I appreciate both of you being on today.
Right.
And do you want to give out a phone number for contact, either one of you?
Yes.
Go ahead.
One bad. 206-295-3683.
Okay, 206-295-3683.
Yeah.
And 276 276-806-3884.
Yeah, call them if you're in Mooresville.
Yeah,
in Martinsville.
276-806-3884.
Yes, you can also follow me on Facebook and TikTok. Mr. Good
Oh,
Vibes.
you be on TikTok? Okay, Mr. I'm gonna see. I ain't know that. Mr. Good Vibes. Okay.
Mr. Good Vibes. It's always spreading good vibes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Spreading it all over the world.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on today.
Hey, thank you and God bless you. I appreciate the opportunity.